Hello, my name is Elizabeth Skinner. I'm a second-year student at CGCC studying psychology and sociology. I'm a mother of teenage girls, 2 of them, and a special education teaching assistant at a local elementary school. My research question is this: is the public school system doing enough to support its autistic students? And how can it create a learning environment where its autistic students can thrive? This was my first year working in a public school system, and I love my coworkers and the kids. However, as I learned much about autism through self-led reading and listening to autistic people that I know personally, including my ex-husband, who's now my co-parent, and also my bandmate, I noticed that the mainstream classroom where I assisted an autistic student was not set up with him in mind. In fact, beyond an accommodation for a stress ball and a 5-minute break here or there, the strict environment full of sensory distractions seemed hostile towards him. Now, he was a creative and inquisitive kid and could read and follow equations as well as his peers when he was one-on-one. When presented with this research opportunity, I knew that I wanted to learn more about inclusive practices for autistic students. And there are 3 things that really stood out to me. The first one is autistic children are unable to process sensory input, and this leaves them in a world that's just unfiltered, bombarding them and causing them stress as they try and focus in a classic classroom. Temple Grandin's account of growing up autistic helped me understand this when she said, "Suddenly, loud noises hurt my ears like a dentist's drill hitting a nerve. I can shut down my hearing and withdraw from most noise, but certain frequencies, they cannot be shut out. It is impossible for an autistic child to concentrate in a classroom if he is bombarded with noises that blast through his brain like jet engines." I imagine myself sitting on a metal chair in a desk, on a flight deck, on an aircraft carrier, while the crew and planes whirred past me as I was trying to faintly make out what my teacher was saying way up there at the whiteboard, only to realize that she was chastising me for not keeping up. This helped me understand the level of sensory processing challenges that autistic kids face. And it helps me extend compassion and find ways of lessening the struggle instead of trying to correct the behavior that result from that. The second thing I learned was about masking. I learned that getting by in neurotypical situations for autistic people means that they have to hide their proclivities, such as stimming, which is when you move your body in a comforting way, whether it's rocking or waving your hands, forcing eye contact, pushing through sensory pain without showing discomfort. Basically anything where you're trying to pass as normal by hiding and squelching those impulses. This can be very dangerous. It not only leads to stress and burnout, depression, but also a loss of sense of self because you're having to hide what you really like and you feel ashamed of the person that's behind the mask. Thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, I learned that autism is a culture, not a malady. Neurotribes, a book by Steven Silberman, looked really appealing to me and took me through the history of autism. I learned that up until the recent 90s, autism was seen as a tragic diagnosis, condemning its owner to a lifetime of disability and struggle. Autism Speaks, one of the largest organizations in the field, perpetuated this perspective with ad campaigns that made parents seem like victims of their child's autism. But with the rise of the information age, the internet helped give a voice to those who are autistic. Autistic adults use the web to develop a network of self-advocacy, paving the way for inclusion and coining the term neurodivergent. You'll hear that much in my research. This helped shift the view of autism from a disease that you should cure to a culture to love and embrace. If autism is a communication style and communication is the bedrock of culture, then autism, much like the deaf community, is just a counterculture that deserves to be recognized. The research I read made me angry and frustrated at a system that seems so unfeeling and judgmental towards 1 out of 54 of their students. It made me realize that you can't treat neurological differences through operant conditioning or corrections. When I thought I was helping with sticker charts or other punishment reward systems, I was actually invalidating the individual's response towards the world. I want to learn more and educate those around me because awareness is the first step to inclusion. I think you should be aware because there is likely someone in your life that is neurodiverse, and they deserve to be treated with understanding, not pity and not judgment. Even if you're never close to someone who is on the autism spectrum, they are part of our community that contribute to society as a whole. They bring out-of-the-box thinking and diversity, which makes for a healthier humanity. So even if you're not an education major or psychology major, watch a TED Talk by someone with autism and learn more about the neurodiversity movement. Watch a biopic about Temple Grandin. There's one called Temple that's very accurate and well represents autistic people. And be respectful to those who you interact with, because they might not act the way you do, but that might just be because they speak a different language. Thank you.